Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. I hope you had a great day. Today we are looking at some new I do work here stories. I hope you enjoy them. The first story is called Give Me Your Name. When I was 20, I was going through my studies, and to make it possible I used to work often in my father's small construction business. He had around 40 employees. I've been working there all summer since I was 16, doing various jobs like warehouse clerk, plumber, accounting and such. At the time I was managing HR, contracts and part-time employees and such, and was often working after office hours since I needed to attend class 3 days a week. One day at 8 PM I get a call from one of our customers asking details about our work site and employees working there. I politely decline, saying that I'm not allowed to give him that information since I'm only working part-time, don't know him, and so can't confirm his identity. I also remind him that the office is currently closed and advise him to call back the next day during work hours when a manager can give him the information. He then immediately gets angry. Listen here, I know the owner of this company personally. I need this information and I want it right now. I respond, well, if you know him well, I'm sure he will gladly respond if you call him on his personal phone. Apparently, that was not what he wanted to hear, as he went berserk on me. How dare you speak to me like that? Give me your name, right now. You are in big trouble, mister. I'll get you fired for that. Sure, write it down. It's this. I give him my name, which is the same as my father's. Okay, wait. He repeats my name. Like the owner of the business's name? Yes, I'm his son. Don't let that stop you though. Needless to say, I never heard back from him after that. Turns out he was who he said he was and we stopped working with him. The next story is called Just Doing My Job. So I work for a certain federal agency that makes sure your Amazon packages and bills arrive the same day. This happened a couple of winters ago and it was hard to believe this guy thought what he did. So the winter before I was promoted, I was working on a route and it was fairly cold, around -40-degree wind chill. And I was getting towards the end of the workday and still had lots of mail and packages to deliver. After I did my rounds of delivering mail from the point I was parked at, I was getting ready to deliver packages that I knew I couldn't carry and were in the direction I had to go to for my next park point. While I was preparing this and ready to drive off, a gentleman from a house I delivered managed to pull out of the driveway and started to drive in that same direction as me. Now for this next part I want to preface by saying there were 3 blocks from where I was to the next part I needed to park at. On the first block where the gentleman was and I was at, I dropped off a package on the opposite side of the street. The gentleman was in his car at the edge of the driveway. As I went back to my van, he got to the end of the block that had a stop sign. We both drove to the second block and he proceeded to pull over to the curb, as I also pulled over to deliver 2 packages. Then he proceeded to pull back out and go to the end of the second block, as I was ready to go on to the third and final block to start my round of delivering mail again. So I was behind him and coincidentally we both ran to the third and final block. He pulls over again, oddly enough. I come up and proceed to go and park and warm up by sitting in the van for a bit. He pulls up next to me. And the following conversation ensues. Hi, what can I do for you? How are you doing? Fine, what can I do for you? He stares at me for a few seconds. I'm a bit worried. Why are you following me? I'm not. I'm the mailman. Are you sure? You were following me a while. I gesture to the logo on the van. I have enough work to do rather than follow you. I'm the mailman. I just think it's funny how you came all the way up here by me. Yeah, I have to warm up. It's cold outside. This is where I park. Alright. Then he drives away. I was honestly shocked that he thought I intentionally was following him. I'm cold, I'm busy, and even though I was essentially working around him, he kept thinking I was following him. Still funny to this day, and if I ever get the chance to do that route again, I can't wait to make it seem like I am following him for my amusement. I hope you enjoyed today's video so far. If you want more content, please subscribe to the channel. And if you like the video, don't forget to press the like button. It really helps the channel to grow. Now, on to the next story. The third story is called No, I'm not a student. As soon as I finished high school, I got a job as a teaching assistant for special educational needs children in a different high school. It was a really fun, albeit difficult and demanding job. For context, I was 20 at the time, 5 feet tall, and I naturally look a lot younger than I am. If I had $1 for every time someone said I'll be happy when I'm 30, I'd have the money to buy higher heels. To make the age gap less of an issue, I exclusively worked with kids aged 11 to 14. But still, half in class were still taller than me. I would sit next to kids in class who needed help or who were generally disruptive, or float around the room to try and help the teacher's class go smoothly. But I was definitely the youngest assistant there, with most of the others being much older. I was in the UK at the time, and so my role in the room was usually not confusing since every student wears a school uniform, and I obviously do not. However, on this one day of Twisted Fate, I walked into a Year 8 maths class on what is called Mufti Day, which is essentially a non-uniform day. I'm trying to get the kids settled, who have known me for almost a year now. It was the hardest class any assistant had to handle, and I was waiting on both the teacher and a second assistant. Then the teacher does walk in, but he's a substitute teacher, aka doesn't normally teach here, and is just filling in, which isn't unusual. First he hands 2 kids some worksheets to hand out, and gives me the third badge. Again, not abnormal, since I hand out lots of things for the teachers. We eventually sit down, and I decide for the time being to sit in between 2 of the naughty boys, right at the front, to keep them under control. The mere presence of a substitute teacher is enough to send their deviant brains into an overdrive of what can we get away with. Spoiler, usually they can get away with anything. Mr. S begins the lesson, talking about something or other when he stops right in front of my desk. He frowns at my empty table. Do you not have a worksheet? Oh, no sir, I don't need one. Where's your pencil case? Why don't you need one? And why aren't you ready to learn? He said this very sternly, and the entire class was quiet. Sub-teachers are known for being nastily strict at the start of the lesson to let the kids know you can't mess around with them, when you totally can. I hold my lanyard up and say, I'm a teaching assistant. The boy next to me shouted, Sir, she's not a student. The poor man turns as white as a sheet, and the boys and the rest of the class start howling with laughter. He apologizes about 6 times, and it takes a good few minutes to quiet everyone back down. Throughout the rest of the class, the kids kept bringing it up, and every time I passed Mr. S, he apologized again. Although the incident did make me think that should I ever want a day off, all I had to do was turn up in school uniform and blend right in. The last story is called This Parking is for People on the Job Site Only. Being a woman in construction, there's a myriad of ways to be taken as someone who doesn't belong. It was made especially easy at my last job, where I would visit the majority of my job sites once a week to collect paperwork and again once a month for a meeting. One morning I was getting out of my car on a site about an hour from my home. It was early, almost 7 AM, and the coffee I sucked down on my trip hadn't hit me yet. I'm one of those people who's barely functional for the first hour or 2 after waking up. Any conversation results in a displeased face while I process your words. I stepped out of my car. I was parked in a special lot that was put aside for people going on that specific site. I made my way to the other side of my car to put on my vest and hard hat and grab my laptop for the meeting. But before I get to open my door, I'm stopped. Some guy working on site for the same contractor as we are, but not for us, tells me, this parking is for people on the job site only. I agree. It was phrased as a statement, so I didn't think anything of it, just confirmed that he was in fact correct. But then he kept repeating, this parking is for people on the job site only. Had he come 1 minute later, maybe I would have passed for someone who belonged with my safety gear on. But I sure as heck wasn't going to open my car door in this situation to grab my stuff. After a bit of repetitive back and forth, I get annoyed and gesture to the job site. Can I go now? I have a meeting. On the job site? Yes. Oh, then you're parked in the right place. I know. I get my things and go to the office trailer. The coffee finally hits me a couple of hours later. I realized he didn't think I belonged here because I'm a woman on a construction site. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider subscribing to the channel for more content. Let me know what you think about the stories in the comment section below. Have a great day. Bye bye.